Hello everyone, I hope everything is going well. It is Tyler Bryden here, and it's been a while. I took a little break off from doing the the video component side of this. Did a couple audio podcasts and have really enjoyed building that out, and what I've noticed is it actually seems to be somewhat more enjoyable on my side when I'm more focused on the speech, when I'm more focused on what I'm talking about, compared to when I've looked back and I've reflected on a couple of the videos, and I've found that I'm a little bit distracted. I'm trying to shift too many things at once. I've got multiple screens running, as well as running the audio for the audio and video for the Wirecast and every thing in terms of recording it. And so it's definitely a lot of work. And when you're trying to be present in that moment and do a really good job with the speaking, I think it's difficult to manage all that at once. And so it's not the end. I don't know if you can notice here. I have my very small desk. I feel like I was almost needed to make it look taller. It's not like a cool stand-up desk, but I do have access to two of my computers here, and I can actually pull up anything on the screen still. So I'm pulling the focus back a little bit from that, at least today. I don't have too many things that I want to share visually, but there were some things that I did actually want to talk about, and it's been a little bit again since I've last done this, and there's been a lot of shifts in my life. One of those shifts has been a project that I've been working on for quite a while now, and it really has taken quite a while to come together and form in my mind, but I'm really excited about where it's at and where it's going. And so you might have noticed that there was a change on the actual sort of branding and look of the podcast. It's now called Speak with Tyler Bryden. For anyone who is logging in or listening to this now and thinks that this is normal, I originally had called it Tyler Talks. It's a very narcissistic name. Didn't like it that much, but I wanted to start that process of actually getting some content out. And so a lot of my life has revolved around that content. Around doing speeches, presenting, and really having to put my best foot forward all the time in terms of communication, because I run my own business. In the beginning, I didn't have much of a reputation in the city, so it really took a lot for people to actually trust me to do anything with money, or even just trust them with the project, whether that's a website or anything like that. There's a lot of problems that can happen if you are a client or a business, and I'm not taking care of that stuff. It can have some big problems for you. And so as I got along a little bit farther with my business, and to really put that in mind, it's pretty crazy. 6'5" is almost coming up on 4 years. When I started this business, I really didn't know where it was going to go. I was at a really different point in my life, and it was something that I wanted to do, but it was really blurry about where I was going with it, where I was going with 6'5", the destination that I wanted to go down. All I knew is that I had come out of school. I had some practical skill sets. I could, start to code a little bit. I could design a bit, and I just had this sort of, innate knack for marketing as well too. And so when I put that all together, did a couple internships and looked at a couple different companies, but I decided to actually start my company 6'5", and I was lucky. I not just lucky. I worked hard. I was smart, and I accessed some grants and raised some money that way to take the burden off myself, who was just coming out of school, and even a couple difficult years in my life where I didn't necessarily have a lot of that money. And so it was a grind. It was horrible, but we're coming up. We're coming up on almost 4 years now. I believe that 90% of businesses fail during this time, and I'm really, excited to have built an exciting business, profitable business, and a sustainable business. And for anyone who doesn't know exactly what I do, right now I'm specializing a lot in Google Ads, primarily search. So when you are searching something online, you're going to see those probably 3 top ad spots right at the top, and one of those you may click on. Those are paid ads. And so what I really love about paid ads is how quickly you can actually get them set up and actually get them running. And With organic, what you're seeing below those paid ads are people who are getting ranked there for free. And this is actually a really exciting thing. This is one of the, the golden things to try to accomplish in marketing in terms of search engine optimization. But I've really focused on Google Ads because of the speed that you can get up there, the optimization on the fly, and the power that it has to scale your business in a way that SEO can take a really long time to build. And so I do that for some businesses. They also do that for a lot of nonprofits as well too. And what's really cool about that, I've actually helped them access a program called Google Ad Grants. And through that program, I actually get access to $10,000 USD a month in free advertising. And that's really exciting. A lot of them don't have the time for, they don't have the time to actually set that up and manage themselves. It's a complex process to set up. Often they don't have the resources in the office or a talented person in the office to deal with it. And one thing that I always try to point out is that this is a really powerful program, but the average nonprofit who is managing it by themselves is only spending about $380 of that $10,000, and really there's not too many profitable outcomes that are coming out of it. And so my goal is to come in, introduce them to some technology, introduce them to some analytics tracking setup that most nonprofits, most companies don't really have or know how to set up or access unless paying what is usually a pretty expensive development marketing agency. And so I come in with the nonprofits, I set them up, put all the tracking on the site, and really start driving a bunch of traffic to it, all really based around obviously their goals, their mission. They're looking for donations, we're driving searches for donations. They're looking for events, we're going for events. And it's been a really cool process. We really refined it, and we're really having a lot of success with especially those nonprofits that we're working with, because it's nice to be able to speak to people who are looking for good things, and we found a really good opportunity to do that with these Google Ad Grants. When someone's looking for the best charity to support or a local organization to volunteer for, and our ad comes up in that right spot, it's a really good opportunity to make that connection and make something happen there. And so that's where I am with 6.5. I get to do a lot of businesses and nonprofits, and I'm really excited about the business I've built there, and almost coming up on 4 years. So that's been one big part of my life, and that is still a massive part of my life. I would say 50% of my time is actually dedicated to 6.5. I would say that's 50% of my life. That's not just 50% of my workload. But as I mentioned, I've been working on this new project, and the project is called Speak. It was originally called Speakeasy, is what I had been calling it, and I like the terminology, the idea behind the prohibition and all this stuff, but it just didn't quite make sense for me the way that I'm trying to build this, and so I've settled on Speak. And we've made some progress with it. Right now, we just have some people helping me out in the office with 6.5. We've had some interns come through, like some contractors and stuff like that. And they've also been helping me with Speak as well, too. And so we've actually made some progress. I've got a really cool technology stack that's coming. And really the goal with Speak, with this project, is to help people communicate better. And this is something that I've really struggled with in my own life. One of those big struggles for me personally came from actually going through a difficult time in my life and actually gaining a bunch of weight, and then actually losing that weight and really coming back down to a normal normal body fat and a healthy lifestyle. And what I noticed in that time is how much people treat you differently when when your appearance is different than it was before, and when you're not maybe the healthiest person. People start to make these judgments and assumptions before you even have conversations with them. And from what I noticed from being a pretty athletic hockey player to being a pretty overweight, sad, fat man, was that just that appearance can have such an effect on how your conversations go, of how you're communicating, the enjoyment that you get out of those conversations. And when I went through this and I had this experience, it was sort of disconnecting. I felt like a little bit of body dysmorphia, but I just didn't know exactly who I was. I didn't know how people saw me. That was something I really struggled with. How did people perceive me? Knowing that maybe some people, especially who had known me, knowing that I've been, quite in great shape before, healthy, popular guy, and then it's seeing quite a transition to, a struggling, depressed, fat guy, fat guy, and not in a bad way. That's just what I was. I was overweight. I was obese, and so that was quite an experience. And so that was, I think, a part of the seeds of where this project has come out of. And it's continued into my own career. Again, I mentioned as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, especially at the start of 6'5", I was networking. I was walking through London to every single networking event you could go to, sometimes many on multiple nights. And you realize how crucial of a role that communication plays. And so, I'm in there handing out cards, talking to people, and a lot of these conversations that I've had are people that I'm now constantly bumping into, who have given me referrals, who have connected me with other people, who have helped me get closer to my goals. And what I started to realize is that some of these in-person moments, as much as we live online, are some of the most crucial moments of our life, and the ones that have the big impact on our real lives. Yes, we all live in a digital virtual world, but when we talk about what pushes you along in life, and we talk about what is helping you grow, a lot of that comes from in-person conversations, communication with real people in the real world. And so I'm glad I realized that. That's a great thing first to start with. And as I went along, I started to, I started to work really hard at the communication. How could I display my body to someone? How could I talk? What jokes could I use? How could I make someone laugh? How could I make someone, care about something that I'm talking about? And I have a long ways to go. Struggling with eye contact still. I've sort of got my head down here, and there's a lot of things that I'm still working on speaking. Also going off the top here, and so there's a lot of mental process going on here as well too. And so I've built up a lot of experience in that, and I would by no means call myself a professional speaker, not even close, but I've had some pretty cool gigs, some in front of up to 500 people, and I've had some pretty intense experiences actually communicating in that real world. Now, of course, there is the second part of this, that there is online communication as well too. And that is not something that is lost on me. I spend a lot of my life online. I run Google Ads. I have websites that I drive people to and try to convince them to do something. And so what you start to realize, of course, too, is that a lot of the skill sets that you're learning in real life communication, the things that work there, transfer over to what works online as well too. And so, again, the company that I'm working on, the project that I'm working on is called Speak. And what's really interesting about it is we've got the system still in an early build, but it's pretty powerful. And what I'm excited about is what you can do is take audio, text, video, upload that file or that text into our system. And what we have is some AI that's built up that has had some pretty big access to training and some really big data sets. And what you can do is actually plug that content in, and you get a full analysis of that. And that analysis isn't just based on, on like spelling and grammar. What we're actually really trying to pull out here is personality. And we're capable of doing that. We're using the big 5 personalities. And what's really, really interesting is you can upload that text, you can upload the video, you can upload this video of me speaking right now, which I do plan to do. I can just get these insane insights back. I can get, I can identify my face, I can attach my voice to that face, and I can actually transcribe that face, give a full personality reading. And we also have a couple other things in there as well too, some tone analysis showing that if you sound angry, if you sound aggressive, if you should, if you sound sad, and maybe you should pull that back. There's a lot of insights that it can actually give you just by running it through our system. And so we're looking at personality sites, which are really, really deep. And what I'm really excited about the personality insights for is these are the things that when we are talking to someone, when someone is, having a conversation with us, that we are processing in our minds. But what I find is a lot of times we're processing these things that we're pulling out subconsciously. And so it doesn't maybe connect, it might not resonate, it might just not be something we think about. But with this AI, it's so much more capable of processing everything and pulling all those insights out. And so now I'm able to pull out keywords, and we can scrub through different parts on those keywords. If you've got some ums and ahs, we're tracking those and make sure you're doing a better job there. And we have a lot of capabilities to do some really interesting stuff in that regards. And that goal in a lot of ways is how can we help you understand how the audience is perceiving you, understand who you are in general, and to take both of those and make it so that you are communicating better, that you're having more success, of course in business settings, in professional settings, but also just in day-to-day life. And I think when we find that when you're communicating better, when you have people around you who care about good communication, you really start to enjoy your life more. And a big passion of mine, again, and I hope you can tell as I'm blah, blah, blah on here, I'm passionate about speaking. I love this stuff. There's something so enticing to me about just straight up conversation, straight up speech. And I think more people are starting to feel that way as well too. Not just, I should say more people. This has been all the time. We've read books, we've done, we've done storytelling, we've done poems forever, but one of the big examples that we've seen is these more long-form versions of content coming out, podcasts, conversations, extended talk shows that are really getting a lot of eyeballs. And so I know that there's an excitement for speech out there as well too. And so I've got a lot of work left to do, and I'm hoping you guys are sort of interested in following along this journey. One thing I've noticed, what I'm really interested in more just from that marketing side, since I've changed the cover art of my my podcast, Speak with Tyler Bryden, I've seen like a 1,200% increase in the actual views and listens. So it's pretty crazy, and I continue to hope to actually keep doing this and recording more podcasts as I explore and I grow with my business. I can see my camera is shutting off here now, so I think I'm done here today. I'm really excited to share more of those details with you. I'm going to have some landing pages up soon. I'm going to be sharing out some content and doing some analysis of some celebrities, some speeches, and some really cool stuff in that regard. So I didn't talk too much today about a lot of other topics. There's some really exciting stuff going on in the news and in the world, but this has really been occupying my mind lately. I've been in development mode, I've been working, and so I paid a little bit less attention to that than I usually do, and I don't want to talk out of my ass. So I am done today. I appreciate you tuning in if you did, and I look forward to sharing some more of those details with these projects for you. Thank you very much, guys.